Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. If you are feeling stuck in life and you are yearning to align with your purpose and rise into a greater version of yourself, this episode is going to be for you. And I share this because I've literally been there. I have existed as probably the lowest possible version of myself, feeling stuck, miserable, disconnected, ashamed, and just really in a low place in my life and deeply desiring purpose. Knowing in my heart I was here for more, and yet struggling to believe it because of the choices that had me end up where I was in my life 7 years ago. And yeah, I want to dive into the nitty-gritty of this because I know there are so many people out there who are maybe in a similar position, who are here for great work and who are here to live the most beautiful, abundant, exciting, expansive, and soul-aligned life. This is the highest timeline that is available for your life. Everyone has a destiny, but not all of them will be claimed. And I want to encourage as many people as possible to go after their destiny and, dream big and actually do the work necessary to come into alignment with the version of themselves that can literally live the life of their dreams, make a massive impact through their work, have so much fun, and just live the greatest possible life that you could. And this is really what finding your purpose is all about. It is where true fulfillment comes from. It is where you get to actualize your greatness. You get to continually expand and meet the edges of your potential. And there is nothing greater or more rewarding or exciting or fulfilling than that. We kind of get sold this lie that, you have to go to work, you got to make money, you got to pay your bills and then pay your taxes and then you die. And it's this very bleak, mundane existence, which I used to be in. I used to genuinely believe that that was it. And I remember looking around at my workplace, seeing these people who had worked for many years in that system, so much longer than me. And I'm like, how are you guys surviving? This is draining my soul. And I guess that was because a part of me knew, even though I didn't really know at the time, that I was here for something else. And, for some people, a regular job may light them up. It gives them purpose. And that's great because that's for them. But I'm speaking to those of you who know you are here for more. You have a yearning in your heart to do something deeper, bigger, greater, something that is more connected to your passions. But maybe you're in a place in your life where you just don't even know how you would start that. Maybe you've started, you've had some success, maybe you've had a lot of failures. I certainly had a lot of those in my journey. And yet for some people, everyone's journey is different. So first off, I want to start by saying that in order to be of service to others, you need to learn to be of service to yourself. And this was a big one because for me, I was in this era of my life, I was my own worst enemy. I did not love myself. I was constantly self-sabotaging, drinking, partying, just making bad decisions in my life that would perpetuate negative cycles of eating disorders, addictions, just all sorts of mess. And as much as I was kind of addicted to my own suffering in a way, and if I'm being very honest, I was in a victimhood mentality. I thought that was just what there is. I felt like I dug such a deep hole for myself that it was going to be just too hard to try to climb out. And who was I to believe that I could create this beautiful life that I had this vision of? And when you're in a lower state or when you're in a life that is out of alignment, it can feel like you are being delusional when you have a dream or a vision for something greater for yourself. But if you feel a strong emotional connection, you feel excited, you feel lit up, you feel fueled by this vision, just know it's not just a silly daydream. It's actually a glimpse into a future potential timeline. And that emotional resonance that you feel is a fact that a part of you already is connected to that or has lived that on some level. Because when we speak of time, time is infinite. There is really, of course, only now, but there is also future realities which you feel in the present when you're connecting to those visions. And I cannot tell you how many times this has happened in my life where I've had a vision, have felt that, emotional resonance with it. I've done the work to align with that and then have lived that vision as my reality. And often it's even greater than what we can initially perceive. And yeah, but the only way you get to discover that is if you have the courage to dare to try. And then the first step here is actually just having a little bit of delusional faith and optimism that you actually can create that no matter where you are. And like where I was, I was drinking, partying, operating at a very low frequency and making choices that I knew were harmful and, creating negative consequences in my life. And I realized if I want to, find my purpose and be of service in some way to others, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to be a designer anymore. But anyway, I still am a designer. I work very differently these days and also do a lot of other work in this realm of helping people align with their purpose, level up into a higher version of themselves and heal the trauma and the pain and the wounding that blocks our light, that blocks our connection and muddies our vision of ourselves and what's possible for our life. And it starts with deep self-care, radical honesty, and hard decisions. What do you need to let go of? If you're in addictive cycles, if you have a toxic relationship, if you are participating in behaviours or habits that you know are not serving you, that is not being of service to yourself. And I truly believe that if we can let go of those things, we come into greater respect and honour for ourselves. We start to really believe that we could be of service because we're being of service to ourselves. We're loving ourselves. We are treating ourselves in a way that is honorable. And for me, where I was at, if you can relate to any of these themes, it was so imperative for me to be radically honest and let go of what was literally just sabotaging my life, draining my light, keeping me bound to a lower version of myself. And that was all I really needed to give me the motivation to let go. It was this vision that I had. And I had it for some time. And certain things in my life kept pulling me back, kept pulling me down to this, back to the same old looping reality that I kept living and knowing I needed to make changes, but not really listening to my intuition, drowning it out, drinking it out, pretending that I don't already know what I need to do. And I think this is key here. Like, you already know what you need to do. Your intuition is speaking to you 24/7, and you just need to listen and act upon that. It's really that simple. And life will, your angels, your guides, God will guide you to so much greater experiences of your life if you could just listen and stop participating in self-sabotaging behaviors that you tell yourself, oh, it's okay because of XYZ, or maybe you have friends who do the same thing, so you think, oh, it's not that bad, but deep down you know what is inhibiting you, and you can continue to do that. You can continue that cycle, but really think about what you might be sacrificing through that, or what you might be delaying through choosing to exist at that level. And I am so grateful that I was able to let go of all of my addictions and all of these things that really just weighed me down and kept my energy inhibited and limited. And this is key here. Like, when you are looking after your energy, you're making choices that support you mentally, physically, spiritually. Your frequency, your energy rises. You start to call back your power to yourself. And of course, letting go of addictions and unhealthy attachments in life, those things take a toll, or is that the right word? They do take a toll on your energy. And that energy, that power that you could be using for other things, is being leaked elsewhere, potentially, again, in relationships, friendships, habits that do not serve you. And it's so normalized in our society. Even, things like weed, which I used to love smoking weed. And I'm so glad I don't anymore, because it's made to seem like this great thing that takes the edge off, but it holds so many people back from their potential and from living a great life, an actual joyful, happy, soul-lit life. When you're outsourcing your joy, and when you can't face the things that come up within you, you hold yourself back. And even though you think you're being clever because you're escaping from something that you don't want to face right now, you're dooming yourself to repeat that emotion or that lesson again. And that was something I had to learn because I was a massive escape artist of all of my pain and, wounds. I did not want to face myself. And that's why, I was living the lifestyle that I was living. And I realized I could keep doing this for the rest of my life if I like. I could keep escaping, numbing, checking out, partying, just being completely free in life. And I use the little quotation hands because if you need a substance or something outside of you to make you feel a certain way, you are not free. You are bound, literally, to something that's taking from you, taking from your life force. And yeah, letting go of these things, I'm telling you, you will radiate with so much light and confidence. You won't even recognize yourself anymore. And it is that energy that you need to cultivate to come into alignment with your purpose. And I mean, there are other ways around it. People have done it different ways, but I'm speaking to people who are in a similar boat that I was in, caught up in all of these entanglements and addictions and negative loops. And you really do have to just bite the bullet, turn around and face yourself and stop numbing and checking out. Because your life is just going to get so great through that discomfort, through that courage, and through that willingness to stop living as a victim of your circumstances. You literally open the door to the life of your dreams, the embodiment of who you dream of becoming. And it's the best thing ever. But it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Are you willing to, step away from certain things? Because it's your choice, right? Many avenues in life, many timelines, lower, higher timelines. It's your choice through your alignment, through your vibration, through your little micro steps in the day, the way that you choose to think, the way that you choose to show up for yourself or not, are literally painting the picture of your life. And a lot of the time, we're very focused on external things. We think if I could just fix this thing out here, then everything else will be great. But everything in your life is pointing you back to you and you, even if you're having friction with someone else in your outer reality. It's always guiding you back to yourself, something to liberate yourself from internally, something to heal, something to break free from. And if you can have that mentality, you unshackle yourself from so much of, the chaos and drama of this life, and you pull all your energy, all of your power back to you. And even if something really unfair and bad happens to you, you just use it as fuel for your own growth, for your own expansion. And inevitably you will learn incredible lessons through that. But you have to not be a victim. You have to you have to unsubscribe from playing the victim in life, which feels good to your ego because you don't have to take responsibility. You can just keep doing your thing, blaming it on other things that happened in the past, pretending like it's easier for others, or that, whatever you tell yourself, whatever the story is, you know which voice is speaking, whether it's your ego or your soul, your higher self, lower self. And be mindful of which you choose to feed, which you will allow to dictate your life. And this is why meditation first thing in the morning for me was so pivotal, because I was caught up in so many different things that if I didn't take the time to sit down, meditate, attune my energy, connect upwards and inwards, I don't know how I would have got out of that mess, because I would have just been too hooked on running back to the same old things, the external sources of joy, doing what everyone else was doing. And I actually took 3 months of hermit time to really heal, go all in on my spiritual practices and just clear as much density from my field as I could through facing every trigger, every wound that came up. And you don't always have to necessarily go digging. I did at times when I knew there were certain things that I needed to heal. But whenever a trigger comes up in your life, that is your work. Don't blame it on the other person. Don't escape, check out with alcohol, drugs, whatever. Go within, liberate yourself, because it's going to come back around to bite you in the ass if you don't deal with it when it's there. It's like the emotional storm is present. become that eye of the storm, like witness everything, allow that storm to pass rather than trying to like push it away, because it's just going to keep coming back. And there will be every part of you wanting to fight that in the moment, but that's because you need to do it the most. Your ego will resist. And whenever that's happening in your life, even if it's so much resistance to giving up a substance, then it's probably because you need to let it go. It's not just a harmless thing that you can, keep passing off as okay, especially when you know it's impacting you in ways that are probably preventing you from coming into true alignment with what you're actually here for. So another thing, your purpose evolves as you do, and it's not this thing that suddenly lands in your lap one day. I wish it did, but it's actually something that you forge alignment with through who you're being and who you are living as. And again, it's kind of how I can explain it. It's like walking through mist with a blindfold on. You're kind of walking blind. You can only see one step in front, and you just have to keep taking the next step and keep trusting your intuition that is going to guide you, because it always is. But many people, they wait for the roadmap. They wait for the perfect plan. They wait to feel ready. They just keep putting it off. They go, oh, I'll do that later. And then they get to the end of their life and go, where did the time go? I didn't act on any of my dreams. I didn't take any brave moves. I just existed in my, average life. And that's fine. But I think part of this human experience is having the courage to chase a greater experience of yourself and of what's possible for you, and to attain and achieve purpose, impact. Being of service to others will light you up in ways that no amount of money, no amount of success, no amount of, love and approval and acceptance from other people will. It's literally the thing that you were born for. And when you come into alignment with this, you will know, because you will feel charged, you will feel energized, you will feel excited, passionate. It's the things that you love, the things that you are naturally drawn to, your hobbies, the things that just you're gifted. Everyone has gifts. And if you're like I was, I didn't really believe I had gifts. I was like, who am I? I don't know what I have. Like, my brother, he's an amazing medium. I was like, he's gifted. I'm not gifted. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? But because my perception of myself was so low, I wasn't able to see what I could really bring to the table. And that's why the inner work piece was so important, to actually get rid of all of this heavy blanket mess and all the wounds and all the trauma from the past, to actually see clearer, to feel brighter, and to have a perception of myself and life that was in alignment with my soul rather than my ego. So your whole perception of reality changes when you're willing to let go of the things that drag you down and do the work to elevate yourself and be free, essentially. Be free to do what you love, be free to be who you are. That is it. It is as simple as those two things. And when you can find playfulness through this, when you can lean into courage, lean into your edges, trust your intuition, you will find the stepping stones to your purpose. And it's so beautiful and expansive, and I'm so glad that I, as that very small, weak version of me who had no idea apart from just this random or not so random vision of a greater life, had the courage to take those steps and do those hard things, I would never have gotten to where I am in my life right now, where I feel literally lit up through my work, and it's just so beautiful. So many dreams, things that I thought would be way in the future, like creating an oracle card deck. That was something that I always wanted to do, and that came to me a couple of years back, and it was such a gift. And you will be so surprised how much more magic enters your life when you align with the magic in yourself and you stop entertaining lower behaviors that keep you subdued and tapped out of your magic. Because everyone has it. Even if you're in the lowest, most depressed, small version of yourself, you have this undeniable magic within you, and you have to learn to come back to that, to re-spark, reignite that. And that is the very thing that that frequency, that energy, that life force is literally a clue to where you're meant to be going and what you're meant to be doing in life. Feeling tired all the time, uninspired, miserable, disconnected, checked out, numbed out, chasing for the weekends, that is not normal. But that's the reality that we get sold is normal, but it's not. The actual original design, or the way that life was intended through our own innate design as who we are, our God-given gifts, our genetic makeup, who we are, the challenges that we've been through, everything is so beautifully predestined. And yet it's like, if we don't have the courage to face the things that hurt us, we just throw away the best that life has to offer because we're too scared. It's like, the best things in life are on the other side of fear. I love that quote. I don't know who said it, but it's so true. And it's designed like that too, because if it were easy, where is the challenge for the soul? Where is the expansion in that? If it was just like a given, or, and that's why there's options, choices, free will. What do you decide? Will you continue to play out the same loops in your life, or will you break the pattern? Do something radical, let go of a pattern, break up with this person that's draining your life away, and go and create the life of your wildest dreams. Or not even you, because you're in co-creation with the universe. You are making choices that align you with things, and it's this interesting kind of well pot of just magic that starts to pour into your life. And yes, you are creating, but you're co-creating, and you will be surprised and supported. And it gets to be this fun, childlike thing. It doesn't have to be this serious, I have to find my purpose thing. I think it can be easy to get caught up in that. And that's where you lose sight of it too. When you're not having fun, when you are in the seriousness, and when you are even trying to prove yourself through your purpose. It's meant to be joyous. It's meant to make you feel alive. It's meant to pull you into direct alignment with your soul and God. And that is why, again, that foundational inner work, if you are someone who's struggled with a lot of negative things in your life and are under the influence of negative toxic cycles, all of that has to be cleared, and then you'll be free to come into that alignment. And then the best part, you get to help people on the other side, having walked yourself out of those difficulties, healing those wounds, alchemizing whatever pain you've been through. Those are all clues to your purpose as well. None of it is accidental. It's so cool. The way that life is designed, it's all under this divine plan. And yet when we're in that lower self energy, when we're in the victimhood, we cannot see it. We literally cannot see it, because all we see is, misery and sadness and darkness and a world that's out of balance and evil and all of this stuff. But when you can reignite that light within yourself, you will see differently. You will step into what is truly possible. And it's like you start to exist and operate on a whole new level. Life really feels like a game, and you can oscillate between these lower and higher dimensions. And you're constantly learning and weaving through it all and expanding through contraction. Maybe you drop down again, you learn something, you rise back up. But only when you're in the driver's seat of your life and you're not, distracting yourself, numbing, checking out, avoiding. This is the danger zone. This is the devil. This is where your lower self is just I can't be bothered. I'm just going to have this whatever, I'm going to indulge myself. And indulgence is fine, but when it's at the expense of your soul and your vibrancy and your actual joy, because you think, oh, my life would be so boring without alcohol and drugs. No, it will not. You'll be like a little kid again who just is happy and excited about life once you clear the stuff that maybe makes you sad or haunts you, because that's key. It's funny, we think that, I used to think that these external pleasures, they were my lifeline. That was where I found my joy, where I found my freedom, where I found my momentary bliss in the kind of noise and chaos and density of life. And by letting go of all of that stuff, I actually came into this experience of literally feeling high. I get off calls with clients and I'm bouncing around the room I'm high, just so excited because I love what I do. And it's a high you cannot beat, being in alignment with your soul is the drug or the kind of the high that you want to chase. So much goodness comes through that, not only for you, but for everyone around you, like the people who you're meant to work with. There is this beautiful tapestry, and even like soul contracts, like people you're literally destined to work with, whether you're meant to work with them for them to help you, or whether you're meant to help them. But if you don't help yourself, how can you help them? So it really does start with being of deepest service to yourself, really learning to love yourself and untangle from any wounds of, unworthiness, of addiction, self-sabotage. Like, you are worthy of the greatest life, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter what has happened in your past. And I encourage you to listen to people's stories who have come from low places in their life, either being homeless or alcoholics, or it's such a common thread. And because so many souls chose that journey because they knew it would be inspiring, they knew that they could help other people from those lower places, and that will give you that extra boost of, I can do this, like this is what I'm here for, and this is again what you signed up for. So I hope that has given you guys an extra boost of courage, of optimism, and has just helped you to tap into that part of you who knows that you are here for more than the life you are currently settling for, and to, reach for something greater, to take that next brave, bold step, to let go of that thing, you need to let go of, whether it's a person, an addiction, or a bad habit that brings you down. You will be so much better off without it. Have the courage to let it go. Just know that life is going to get so much better when you're coming into alignment with who you are. And your purpose, the best things that life has to offer are all waiting for you when you can realize that you are here for something, even if you don't know what it is yet, and just make bold moves in the right direction and allow yourself to be surprised by the beauty of life and the magic that exists through the great unknown. I know you'd love to know. I wish I did, but there is so much magic in not knowing and allowing yourself to be surprised. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have the most magical day, and I'll see you in the next episode.